Welcome to Inside the Speakeasy podcast, the private room where today's sharpest founders, innovators, and renegade thinkers come to trade the ideas that move industries. This show is brought to you by High Level, the AI-driven business operating system trusted by over 2 million businesses to help automate, scale, and create real leverage. High Level isn't just a tool, it's the engine behind some of the most agile and high-performing teams on the planet. If you're ready to streamline everything, amplify your reach, and actually build a business that works for you, you're in the right place. Visit www.gohighlevel.com/speakeasy-mastermind-promo to get an exclusive 30-day trial for being a listener of the Inside the Speakeasy podcast. Enjoy the show.
There's a lot of people who compete on their bank accounts, and I compete on freedom and how much creative time and financial freedom I can possess in any given week. And that's where I like to win.
So like many entrepreneurs, you're probably burnt out and you're struggling and you're asking yourself, there's got to be a better way. Well, I have some good news for you. There is a better way. It's the happy hustle way. And I'm so stoked to bring on Cary Jack. He's got a top 1% podcast, USA best-selling book, and he's got an incredible system called the Soul Mapping System. And on this podcast, he's going to walk me through the Soul Mapping System, 10 different areas where I need to be ranking myself to get better. And he's going to give tips in every area. I want you to follow along the Soul Mapping System. We're all going to do an assessment together, and we're going to learn some amazing things about how to get our happy hustle on. Welcome, Cary Jack.
Thank you, brother. Honored to be here. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, you and I have had some great combos, and I think we have a lot in common. In fact, you just actually had me falling off my chair a second ago saying like your goal is to get the 20-hour week. Tell me what you just said there. That was, I'm like, whoa.
Oh, no, I was like, there's a lot of people who compete on their bank accounts, and I compete on freedom and how much creative time and financial freedom I can possess in any given week. And that's where I like to win.
I love that. Okay, so that's a good KPI for yourself, is how much freedom are you getting each week?
Yeah.
And I don't think most of us don't think in those terms. We're thinking in the scoreboard of our sales and our business metrics, but not about, I love that. I mean, it just didn't happen. So you were burnt out. Let's just take a step back. So I want the audience to understand your career background and how you got today. I mean, you're running some insane masterminds with lots of entrepreneurs. You're in front of a ton of people and you're seeing the burnout. It's real. And you've got some great, great solves for that.
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, I burnt out myself. So I was basically a victim to the grind culture, and I was chasing ego and status and power and money and all the things that society deems important, quote unquote. I had this tech startup in New York City, grinding like a damn dog. Never had a real job, always been an entrepreneur, kind of eat what I kill kind of vibe. Just very much not going to take a corporate gig ever, and never have and never will.
Oh, scary.
I know. But I did have this algorithm that I built with my brother that quantified feedback, and it had a lot of legs. And so we had shopped it around, had partnerships with Microsoft and IBM and a bunch of 7-figure funding deals for this grandiose 5-year exit trajectory back in New York City in my early 20s. And what happened was I was just grinding like a damn dog and working 100+ hour weeks, getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night, just on this hamster wheel, and was having quote unquote success, but no fulfillment, just freaking smoked. And I ended up sitting in front of a stack of papers from a ton of investor capital and all these clauses and all these deals and all this that was looking me in my face, but I couldn't take the money. I couldn't take the deals. We said no to all the partnership deals. My brother and I, with tears in our eyes, were just ripping up this paperwork at our dump of apartment in Queens, New York. We were sharing a king size bed, and he snores like a train.
Okay.
But, we were just the whole fake it till you make it kind of thing. But we had all of it in the palm of our hands after working so hard, 18 months straight. But I just couldn't fucking do it. I was like, I can't take this money. I can't take this opportunity.
These are investors ready to put money in the business.
Tons of it. Yeah. And all these, we had just so much. The idea still has merit today, but it really just wasn't something I was super passionate about. It was more chasing, like I said, money. And that wasn't fulfilling. So I ended up folding up, ripping up the paperwork, moving to Bangkok, Thailand, actually figuring out over there a better way to work and live in alignment. I put the happy in my hustle for about a year. I was over there, and I started writing the Happy Hustle, the book, and created the podcast, and just kind of this whole movement blossomed. And yeah, as they say, the rest is history. Fast forward, we have our mastermind community. I know you do too. We were just riffing on that, our club, our like annual program. And now we have this whole company happiness program, which is SaaS that we're building out. And yeah, a lot of cool stuff happened, but it all started with that decision to say no to.
I'm going to go back there in a second.
burnout.
Then I want to get into some of the cool things you're doing. But because I'm having a hard time like thinking, okay, you work your ass off. You finally get to this point that you've been sort of saying, well, we're working hard to get to this point. You get to this point and you say, we don't want it. So like, how does that even happen? Like, shouldn't it be the opposite? Like, how did you flip it? And how did your brother feel about that?
Well, my brother, he was aligned as well because he's a very big environmentalist and he wanted something to do with saving the planet. And this business was not that. And so it just was misaligned for our values. He fast forward, he now is like Harvard certified sustainability strategist who speaks at the United Nations. He's like the Elon Musk of the sustainability world. Mark my words, he will change the planet and its trajectory. He's brokering 9-10-figure deals every week with Fortune 100s to help them go green. So he's living his purpose and I feel like I am mine. So it was one of those things, God, call it a higher power, just was like, this is what that path looks like, and here's potentially another alternative route. So I think it was more of a divine thing that kind of steered us away.
So you guys are sitting there and you're like grinding, get these offers, and you guys have these probably very, very emotional, difficult conversations of like, okay, we just grinded 100-hour weeks for 18 months, got to this point, and you're like looking at each other saying, do we actually even want this? Now that we got here, do we want it? I assume that at that point you're thinking, okay, if we take this, it's almost like if you hit the red button, if you open this door, you're going to have to then go do more grinding. Is that kind of the conversation?
Yeah, precisely, man. And that's the thing, just to your point, I don't think enough entrepreneurs pause, like in the power of a pause really can be monumental. You have to realize too, what version of success are you chasing? And is it your definition or someone else's? Like I was chasing someone else's version, not mine, right? So now, like I said, freedom is at the forefront of every decision that I make. And if this brings me more freedom or less, right? Freedom and peace. That's truly, I just love peace. Peace, is prosperity in my opinion. And so when I now redefine my version of success, that wasn't it. And now fast forward, this is.
How do you define, you said something interesting though, and I love that. You're looking at freedom, and that's a big KPI that I think is a huge takeaway if nothing else already. It's just people to think about the freedom scoreboard, if you will, the freedom score. Like, how do you define that for yourself now?
Well, I think Tony Robbins, Tony, he has the best definition, I think, which is doing what you want with who you want, as much as you want, whenever you want. Basically, that is true freedom. And so that's somewhat of what I've adopted.
Love it. Love it. So you're now able to choose projects that, and I think another lesson in there, and I look back at my career that I've talked about, and I think so many of us just get caught on you're just running hard, you're young. This seems like a good path to go on. You just jump on that treadmill and you just start going down that path, especially if that entrepreneurial mindset. You're running 100 miles per minute on that path, and the ego, like you said, gets in the way and says, well, I'm just going to win because I'm on this path and I know I can score and I know I can do it. And you're like, holy shit, I've been on the wrong path the whole time. Like, what am I doing here? Like, do I really want this? And you had the fortitude to stop, it seems like.
Yeah. I mean, I always kind of equate it to, and it's a silly analogy, but it's like you're going on a trip, right? You want to get from LA to New York, and you've probably heard this, but you could choose what vehicle. You take a jet, you're going to be there in a fraction of the time. You take a bicycle, you're going to be there it's going to take a lot longer. You could take any form of transportation in between, right? But each vehicle comes with pros and cons, right? I just ask all of my friends and my fellow entrepreneurs out there, what vehicle are you actually in? And is it the one that's serving you the best? Because going fast is great, but it might cost you more than you're willing to pay, right? Because that's where that 100-hour weeks, that's going fast, that's grinding. But what does it cost you? Pretty much everything. Family, friends, fitness, faith, fun, all the F words, right? So is that the right vehicle for you? It all depends on your goals. And so that's where coming back to what does success actually mean for you?
Love it. Love it. Okay. And I want to jump into some of the cool things you're teaching in a second, but I got one more question on the past. I thought it's interesting. So Cary lives out in Bozeman, beautiful mountains. And we're just talking about the Four Seasons. And then you're heading over to New York for a minute. Dude, how's that transition? Like, are you like, I got to get back home? Like That's
Oh,
like
yeah.
the opposite.
Oh, it sucked, dude. I was like, what the heck am I doing here every day? For like, I look at the rats on the subway and the people who, a lot of them act like rats. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? And I've lived all over, man. Growing up on a ranch in Montana half the year at my dad's and in the mountains of Montana versus where I would be like camping, fishing, hunting, hiking, cowboying. And then my mom lived technically in Sarasota, Florida. So I was at beach, surf, skate, and sports, right? I felt like balanced in terms of these geographic locations. Plenty of drama between my parents and interesting upbringing nonetheless. Everyone has their story and their shit. Mine's no different. But I will say, traveling all over the world. Like I lived in Bangkok, I lived in Barcelona for a year, I lived in Rio in Brazil for a year, roughly in South America, and traveling all around there. Lived in LA, New York, Chicago, Miami, all the places pretty much. Montana is the shit. And it is like hands down my favorite place ever, even still growing up here. So it just was like out of like, it's not like I'm just some podunk redneck, which sometimes people mistake me. But the truth is, I choose to be here because it is the best. And I don't want everyone to up and move here after Yellowstone, that show. Now everyone is starting to migrate. But the winters are cold and there's lots of grizzly bears. That's where I'll leave it. So don't come.
You
can come, Eric. But
thank you. Yeah, no, we got to interview first before they can get into Bozeman. Now there's a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
I like it. The secrets. Yeah, no. What was your favorite? So New York was definitely a negative on the list. What was your favorite international spot that you were hanging out for a while? Was it Bangkok?
I really did enjoy Spain. Spain was cool. I really liked Argentina and Buenos Aires. You know, Bali's a interesting spot if you're into like that kind of beach vibes.
Yep.
I will say Bali, it kind of is like Australia's Cozumel. You know, like it's like they just all the Australians and New Zealanders just go and run amok there. So it's a little bit not my favorite touristy kind of spot, but Thailand's awesome. Land of the smiles, they call it. Everyone, it really puts life in perspective when you travel. I just highly recommend everyone travel because you learn so much about yourself, culture, people,
100%.
Language. It's just the best form of education, in my opinion.
Okay, let's go back to, that's a good segue. So I'm going to go back, take us back to Thailand. And you started this whole movement, the Happy Hustle, and you're doing amazing things in there and you're teaching some great stuff to you got members, you got different memberships, you got different programs. Talk to me a little bit about what people, really about Happy Hustle movement, what you're teaching, and maybe, and I want everybody here listening to get some of the key takeaways that you're teaching to your community.
Yeah. So our whole premise is, how do you systematically harmonize ambition and well-being, right? So ambition, meaning crushing it, yes, as an entrepreneur, increasing your income and your impact, because we only serve entrepreneurs, but technically our content, it lands with pretty much anybody, but that's who we serve at our highest level. And well-being is like, how do you also be an awesome husband and amazing father and man of God and community servant and holistically happy human, right? Like, that's what real success means to me, in my opinion, is like having personal and professional life harmony, right? Crushing it in each area. And I know a ton of people, and you and I both have a lot of mutual friends, and we know a bunch of wealthy people who have lots and lots of money, but lacking fulfillment, lacking joy, lacking freaking, hey man, they're struggling, like mental health. I mean, it's like, I know that it's kind of shocking, but it is a real factor. And so after sitting in the room of a ton of masterminds, I wanted to almost change the paradigm. Like, what is true success and freedom look like? What can it look like? And what's the system to get you there? So that's where I kind of sat down and just scratched my own itch of like, what are the key areas of life I really want to focus on? And that's where the 10 alignments of being a happy hustler came to be. And that's our whole soul mapping system. Happy to elaborate if you'd like.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. I want to get some takeaways. I mean, I love the name, by the way, soul mapping system. Soul mapping system.
Yeah, it's all our stuff is slang and not PC. I say a ton of dick jokes and cuss words, so I'm sorry in advance if that offends
you can handle it. It's all right.
Okay. I only serve guys that are mastermind, so it's all just like high-performing, nature-loving, badass dudes who, you know, a lot of them were ex-athletes or military, so they get the banter.
Right.
Yeah. So the soul mapping system, Eric, if you're feeling froggy, I'm going to put you on the spot and I'll just put you through the assessment live. It'll take like 2 minutes, but if you're feeling brave, I'll put you on the spot and then everyone else can play along with us. And he didn't expect this. I'm going to reverse interview.
Well, I can cheat. I got editors, but hopefully we won't use those. We'll just go with it.
Okay. So let me just put you on this. So I'm going to ask you a series of 10 questions, essentially, and you're going to write down a score for each of these 10 different areas of life. Okay. So just, if you're listening, I highly recommend be a active participant. Don't be a passive listener. You'll get way more juice out of this squeeze if you actually play along. And again, keep it real. Give yourself an honest score. So the soul mapping system, as we say, it's your soul's map to the blissfully balanced promised land, right? And I know balance gets a bad rap, but I, again, truly believe balance equals happiness. Like that is something I'll go to the grave with and put it on my tombstone. And if I didn't get cremated, I'd rather just end up in the mountains. Anyway, soul mapping starts with S, selfless service. Okay. So S, selfless service. Give yourself a score 1 to 5 in the last 30 days. I don't want you to say, oh, I used to volunteer in high school. That was great. I'm happy for you. But last 30 days, we want a real pulse on where you're at and where you're lacking right now in your life. So I look at it like this. Gift, give, insight, finances, and time. Did you actually give to causes and people that you believe in? And no, it cannot be anything business related. So, oh, I'm mentoring this kid who probably is going to work for me. That's not selfless. You know what I mean? Like we're talking real selfless service. So give yourself a score 1 to 5. Okay.
It's like giving to charities and all that kind of stuff.
Basically stuff like that, and your time as well. Do you want to share your score at the end, or do you want to reveal it as we go?
You tell me what's better. I'll go.
All right. Let us know where you're at.
1.
Okay. All right.
I was honest. The last 30 days, I've been pretty buried in the event and everything else.
Yeah, I get it. So 5 is like an A, you're crushing it, just to be clear. 1 is like an F, you're failing, like, and then subsequently 2, 3, 4. You know, wasn't much.
I'm embarrassed to admit it, but it's the honest answer right now. I have not been good with service in the last.
Dude, and I appreciate the bravery. And that's the thing. In order to grow, you need to know, like, what you measure, you can manage. All those adages are cliche for a reason, right? So now we'll move on to optimized health, right? Optimized health. Do you have the body, the mind, the emotional energy that you desire? Like, are you feeling optimized? Or maybe you've been shoving crap down the pie hole and not moving that ass, you know? So where you at?
3.
1 to 5. 5 is an A, you're crushing it. 1 is an F, like you're failing. Where you at in optimized health?
3.
Okay, 3. Awesome. You unplugged digitally. This is one that a lot of systems overlook, and especially now in the modern day world, you got to measure where you're at in your tech usage because it largely dictates your happiness.
1.
So 1. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that I always ask, do you have like a system, barriers set up like detox time, or are you just?
I'm seeing those articles out about these digital detox restaurants now. That's so cool.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's going to become a movement. Yeah. Well, so these places now are saying you got to check your cell phone in the door, and they're getting great. Yeah. I mean, that's a small bit of what you're talking about. It's just like go connect with your loved one. I mean, come on already.
Well, so at our masterminds, if they bring their phone or anyone has their phone near the table, they have 50 push-ups right there on the spot they got to do.
Love it.
We have penalties in our shit.
Love it.
But So again, easy stuff. Like in the book, I have remedies for each of these. This is something where it's not like, oh, now you just got a shitty score. Sorry. For example, digital detoxing, just the first 30 and the last 30. First 30 minutes in the morning, last 30 minutes before bed, just no screens, just let that be sacred time with God, your family, a book, whatever. And then, airplane mode, putting that on for minimum 2 hours a day, and then limiting social media for 1 hour. You can put a setting on your phone where it just turns off your access to social media. I actually went as far, I don't even have social media. I will just be 100% transparent. I'm buying something off of Facebook Marketplace, so I had to download it on my phone, a nice big grill guard for my truck. But the point is, I usually don't even have social media on my phone. I just log on my desktop for an hour. My team runs all my socials.
And those are some great tips. Thank you for that.
Yeah, 1 hour a day. Make it, like just be more of a producer than a consumer on social, and you'll be so much freaking happier and make a lot more money.
Let's keep that rhythm going if you don't mind, because I think this is great takeaways. And we'll come back on the S and the O. What's your just quick tip on the S and then the O?
Yeah, so for the S, so for selfless service, I always just say schedule giving. So I like a company called Kiva, Kiva, which is an organization that gives essentially micro loans to environmental entrepreneurs in third world countries. And so I've been donating every month. I give a ton of money just on autopilot to a bunch of different organizations, but that's one I really like because it empowers entrepreneurship in these third world countries. And then they give the money back, and then I just give it to other people. So every month I'm giving micro loans.
I've heard of that program. I'm starting to hear that.
Cool. Yeah. And then get like a program in your local community. Like I'm part of the Rotary Club. That's a massive organization, one of the biggest in the world. They're doing a lot of good in the local communities. There's like 50,000 different chapters or something. For the O, I talk about energy, which is environment, nutrition, exercise, rest, gallon, youth. So the 6 key pillars of any real health. the biggest thing that oftentimes gets overlooked is your environment, right? So it's like if you're sitting there soaking up toxic blue light, breathing in recycled air, getting beamed by electromagnetic fields, constantly on your devices, you wonder why you feel like donkey dick. It's because you're freaking not meant to live like this. You got to get outside, you know? But the point is, you got to just be conscious of your environment, obviously exercise, nutrition, all that stuff. And it's just more important what you don't do and what you don't eat than what you do. Like if you don't stay up to 1 o'clock and you get good sleep, you're going to feel better. If you don't eat that extra ho-ho or Twinkie, or even one to start with, again, little simple stuff. So those are a couple tips for S and O. And now we're on the U, Unplug Digitally. And we got your score there. So now we're moving on to loving relationships. So everyone should have 3 scores. Now write down a score for loving relationships. And this is your inner circle, like your spouse, your best friends, and your family members.
I'm giving myself a 5 on that one. I get a 5.
Yeah, your kids too, obviously. Yeah, so it's like, how much love do you actually have in your life right now? How much plentiful pleasure? How much peace, call it? Just give yourself a score. And then obviously, you could have the opposite: angst, despair, lots of adversity. So just be honest in loving relationships. That's an awesome score for you. So now we're moving on to mindful spirituality. So this is, and I don't care one religion or another. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual personally. You know, grew up, my dad was Catholic. My mom was Jewish. I go to a Christian church. I love the music. But I then did a ton of Tai Chi and Kung Fu growing up and learned from a Taoist priest, this whole martial arts way of life. So now I'm like big into Eastern. I've always been. So it's just like, I just believe you have to have faith in like a higher power, something bigger than yourself. You know what I mean? That's my take. And so I would just ask, how connected do you feel to God? 1 to 5, or to the divine, or whatever you want to call it, source. But just give yourself a score 1 to 5 in this one.
I'd say probably a 2.
2. Okay. This is just a couple, like, as we call them, happy hustle hacks. You know, we talk about SITs. I do acronyms inside of all of our acronyms, which is, again, super meta. And this was before ChatGPT would spit out like a ton of acronyms. I spent freaking weeks in a cabin in the middle of nowhere creating these damn acronyms. And sometimes I laugh because I'm like, gosh, it would have been so much easier, you know, to write these. But SITs, chill in the still. Sits your ass down and just chill in the still. That's my reminder to breathe, meditate, and just pray. I pray around every meal. It's a trigger for me just to give thanks and gratitude and pray every night with my family. So again, prayer doesn't have to be religious. It can be just a connection, a time to listen and pause and ponder.
Love it.
Right.
Love it.
Okay. Now moving on to abundance financially. Lots of people think this is the most important alignment, but actually they're all equally important. So give yourself a score 1 to 5. 5 is like, you know, you're crushing it. You got a whole system to save, spend, invest wisely. 1 is you're living paycheck to paycheck, failing right now, really struggling. So where you at?
3.
3. And here's the thing. High performers are always hard on themselves. So it's all for each person, but it is important to just give yourself an honest take, like your numbers and where you want to be. Great. Like you might have massive goals, and that's what it is right now. You know, your true state. It's just important to know in order to then pivot accordingly. So for this one, I talk about the roadmap system for increasing your sales conversions. This is, I love sales. Sales has been like my favorite skill to hone ever since I was a boy. I was called Coercion Cary for better or worse. But roadmap, I'll hit you real quick. But this is the talk track I've used to sell millions of dollars online, typically in my underwear. And it's very simply roadmap, R, rapport. So you got to build the rapport first and foremost, kind of like a talk track for your next sales conversation. O, obstacle. So you got to know where they're at and what's the obstacle holding them back. A is the aspiration. Where do they want to go, right? What's the goal? And have your product or service fill that chasm. Then D is demonstration, right? You actually have to showcase future success and talk about client success and testimonials and leverage social proof. A lot of people miss that step. M is match. You got to match and make sure it's the right client. How many people do you know that have sold the wrong people and then just hate their lives and miserable fulfilling their services?
Chasing the money.
Yeah, you and I have both done that, I'm sure. And it sucks when you sold the wrong people. So match, make sure it's a good fit. A is ask. You got to ask the damn question. Hey, is there anything else holding you back from taking action on this opportunity today? And they'll tell you, right? And be prepared ahead of time with your key 3 objection busters. What are the 3 things you hear most common? Time, money, spouse, right? You need to know what you're going to rebuttal to those things, right? And then the final is pull. I don't like to push. I never push, but I pull, right? I pull them into the opportunity with ethical, keyword, ethical scarcity and urgency, right? So you have to have that in your offer, else you're going to get the, you know what, I need to sleep on it. And that is what you hear if you don't have good scarcity and urgency. Good scarcity would be, hey, we only have 15 spots and 13 are sold. So like, this is your chance now to take action, and we're not going to hold spots. So you're going to miss out. And then urgency would be, oh, you know what? You could get $1,000 bonus if you do take action on the call today, or some type of extra thing, a discount, whatnot. But that's the roadmap system to increase abundance financially. If you need a little pro tip there.
Love it. That was a bonus tip. I love that. All right. Now we're going into the P, right?
Everything you hear on this show comes back to one idea: proximity. I wrote the book on it, literally. Proximity Pays. My best-selling book available now at proximitypays.com.
Yeah, the P. So the first P is personal development. I'm sure a lot of your listeners and watchers are viewers, are high on this one. But again, you're either growing and evolving, or you're shrinking and dissolving. That is the choice, right?
Yeah.
So where you at in personal development, like just give yourself a score 1 to 5.
Yeah, 4.
Love it. Yeah. My little happy hustle hack here is the 30-30-30 system for guaranteed growth. 30 minutes of reading in the morning, 30 minutes of listening in the afternoon, 30 minutes of watching in the evening. It hits the brain centers differently, but all inspirational, educational content. That's why I like to hit it on those different 3 mediums. And when I do this, I just make it related to my goal. It's not like random knowledge. It's like, what is my goal? Right now, like I'm learning a ton about AI and all the different use cases. So like my 30-30-30 is largely dedicated to that. So that's the little pro tip there. Next is passionate hobbies, which I find a ton of high performers lacking. We're always given to our freaking families and our friends and our colleagues and our team and our clients and everyone but ourselves.
Right.
And we feel freaking guilty having fun, and doing shit that we enjoy. So where you at in passionate hobbies?
Fuck. I mean, I'd say that's going down. That's going backwards.
Okay, make sure you're writing these down because we're going to total them at the end, okay?
I am. Yep.
All right, so 2. So my whole thing here is like pick, and we have this like 4 factors of fun. It's just when you're picking a hobby, you want to make sure, like, 1, that it involves people that you want to be around, right? 2, that it's a potentially like life beneficial skill. 3 is that you're going to have fun. And 4 is that you're actually going to grow, right? Like doing things that check all those boxes, like learning salsa dancing. You're going to have doing it with somebody you care about, hopefully, right? You're going to be around people who are lively and fun. You're going to grow. You're going to increase. Dancing is actually really good for longevity too. Connect the right and left lobe of the brain. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff like that where we put our guys through to make sure they pick the right hobby, not just something random. But spending time guilt-free is the key to do fun shit. I love fly fishing. I love horseback riding, playing soccer, doing my martial arts and kickboxing and whatnot out here now, and Krav Maga, and then I'll go dancing with my wife when I can. Now that she just had a baby, it's been a little different schedule. I'll say I got a 2-month-old daughter, so all that's been put on the back burner largely, but now I just take them with me. Okay. Bringing it home with impactful work and then nature connection. So impactful work, give yourself a score here. And that is, again, do you feel, I'm going to hit you with some cliche buzzwords, but passion, which is that inward calling on your heartstrings, right? And then purpose, which is that outward serving mission, like actually helping people you want to help to ultimately make a positive impact. That is what I think about impactful work. Do I have all 3, right? Specifically, that positive impact is like, I'm not exploiting people or the earth's resources negatively. And I'm not like creating tchotchke bullshit on Amazon and like drop shipping like,
Chase a buck.
Little Hello Kitty cats that are just putting more plastic in the planet. Like that, no offense if that's your business, but fuck, it's not for me. Like, is it impactful actual work? Ask yourself that and give yourself a score 1 to 5. Where you at?
We're going 5 on this one.
Woo! Let's go, Big Daddy. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. So now we got the last one, which is nature connection. And this one is, how often do you actually get outside in nature, unplugged, just really soaking up this beautiful planet, Mother Earth, right? And then I loop in being a conscious consumer and like actually practicing sustainable things as a part of your ethos, not buying plastic water bottles from frickin' Walmart and not just being excessive with our supply chains. We don't need that plastic wrapping on our books. You don't need to ship them in the plastic. They'll be okay in a box, right? So it's like making choices like that just focus on what we call it the triple bottom line: people, planet, and the profits. It's not my term. This is a big term in sustainability. But if you can hit all three, then you're really connected and using business as a force for good. So where are you at in terms of those two components of nature connection?
Three.
Okay. All right, Eric. Well, I appreciate you playing along and being such a good sport.
I'm adding, yeah.
Yeah. So now we need you to add it up. Everybody add it up. And this is, again, a score that just is going to be telling. It's going to say where you're at right now in terms of happy hustling your dream reality and where you potentially have some room to grow. So where'd you land? 40 and above is your happy hustling. 39 and below means you got some work to do. So what's your score?
I got work to do, my friend. I thought you were going to go like 30 to 40. I'm like, oh, Jesus, I didn't even make that range. I'm 29.
Okay. Hey, man, look, now in order to grow. So now what I say typically is like, just pick your lowest two that you want to work on. And then you just create a habit. With our stuff, we actually have a blissful balancer. You should have got one in the mail. Did you get a mail from me yet or no? If not, I'll send it to you. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll need confirm your shipping address with my team. But so we have these like magnets that go on your refrigerator, and you just like write out an action task for each of these different alignments. And then every day you just check it off if you did what you said you're going to do. Like, hey, 15 minutes. I'm just going to give 15 minutes to somebody who needs it without any type of law of reciprocity top of mind, right? That could be for selfless service, right?
Yep.
Nature connection. I'm going to go outside for 20 minutes and just like sunbathe and like ground to the earth, like just sit there. You know, so it's like you just check it off every day. It's an action. It's a habit tracker. It's super simple. Nothing that we take
like
to rocket science.
I feel like if like you focused on one a month, like, and you can hit all 10 within a year, you could be really happy hustling.
Well, we get guys turned around in like literally 30 days. Like
30
I
days.
just had a guy who just signed up for our program, completely burnout and running a nice 7-figure business, but stressed to the gills. And 30 days, he's like, this changed my entire life. 1,000x worth the investment, my whole relationship with everyone that I come in contact with. And his words, not mine, but he's like, this was the best decision I've ever made. And it's simply because you're just putting intentionality with your actions in these different core areas. You know, it's a system that supports every component of entrepreneurship and life at that, you know, but especially for entrepreneurs, it works.
Love it. So speaking on that segue, this is amazing. So thanks for this. Very eye-opening. I love that you got everything acronym and solutions for all. Tell the listeners a little bit about what's a happy hustler offer stack, if you will. Like how do they get into your tribe? What are the different programs you offer?
Yeah, thank you, man. Well, just for a little caveat, if guys or girls want to go deeper, like the happyhustle.com, we have the book for free on the website. We have the assessment if they want to take it, like the online version for free. It's all there. If you want the hard copy of the book, you got to pay for it, but you can download the ebook for free. And that just goes deeper. So just to tie a bow on that, if anyone does want more resources, it's all there. The club, our Happy Hustle Club, is exclusively for high-performing male, badass, nature-loving, outdoor entrepreneurs who want to mix, you know, business with pleasure and go on epic adventures. We'll have a community.
And I just want to clarify something.
Yeah.
Cary is an amazing human, and he loves men and women equally. So I don't want anybody listening to this thinking. There's also a learn in there because we've talked in the office. It's about finding your niche. And the lesson there is Cary's found a niche that he happens to be working with, which is that niche. Doesn't mean he doesn't like the other niches at all. That's just where he's
100%.
marketing. And he's having more success because he's focusing on that niche.
100%. Yes. I am not sexist. I promise. I love my women in my life. I have a daughter, a wife, sister, mother, very much an advocate. I have a lot of women friends who are entrepreneurs that I pull back the curtain, show them what we're doing, and send all the women that apply their way. But it's just for our stuff. Like personally, I know men need a sacred place that they can really take the armor off and connect on a raw, primal level and sitting around the campfire talking about the real shit. Everyone signs NDAs to come on our stuff. It's like the Vegas rule out in the wilderness, you know? So it really is one of those things where we just created a space to keep it 100% honest. So that's why we made that choice. But yes, it is important to really nail your avatar. And I believe, talking marketing, I'd rather be the magnet than the megaphone, right? So I'm constantly magnetizing my perfect people with our copy, with our ads, with our social proof, with our testimonials, with our content, rather than attempting to, hey, buy my shit. Look at me. I can help everyone. I'm like, we can't help everyone. It's not for everyone. And we tell you, we have a strict no douchebag policy. If I get a whiff of douche, you're fucking out. So it's like, we just don't tolerate it. It's in our bylaws. Even if you paid, you get no refund. We kick you out of the club. But it's like, you got to embody the ethos, reciprocal respect, outgoing optimism and inspirational integrities. Like one of the guys was trying to fool around on his wife on one of our masterminds. We're like, well, that's not integrity. You're out, man. Like not the right event for you, not the right club, not the right thing. If you want to go do that, that's fine, I guess, for you and your choices, but that's not who we want to associate. We keep our standard as high as possible in that capacity. So I think that's really kind of what's been the secret sauce for us, is just vetting extensively. You know, we have the 4 quarters paradigm ethos, which is, would you rather have 4 quarters or 100 pennies? I'd rather have 4 ride or dies who I know if I need them, they pick up my call, rather than I'm in a group with hundreds and thousands of people that no one knows about and surface contact. So we cap our club. It's a 1 in, 1 out model. And anyway, I say all that to say, yes, the club is kind of 3 different tiers. We have a 100K program, a 30K program at the time of this recording, and then our one-off masterminds are 9,500. So it is a little bit higher tier price point, but it does always come with a happiness guarantee, personal or professional ROI or your money back. And we never have to give any money back. So I'm feel like
something right.
Yeah, it's working. We're getting, like I told you, 11.2 ROAS. We turned on Meta ads right now, and now we got a new problem, which is keeping up with demand. So
I mean, it's similar. I mean, the last thing you said, even within Speakeasy, it's like that's why I don't want my city chapters to be. I'm not trying to get hey, let's be EO, and I love EO, but like or Vistage, like let's get like hundreds of people in the city. I'm like, well, you can't really build relationships that many. So like, let's cap it at a certain number so we can get to know each other and have that. Pick up a phone locally, kind of call people. So I agree with that philosophy. It's dead on there. Well, very cool. I got tons of ideas and tips, and I can't wait to get the magnet and do some things. What did I not ask you today that maybe I missed or we didn't cover?
One thing that I like to share with specifically high performers who probably are listening to this show is this concept that I coined the more disease.
Okay.
And I really think it's infected a lot of people, specifically high performers now, so more than ever, that we're constantly craving. It's like a freaking disease. More money, more status, more fame, more power, more people, more likes, more follows, more stuff, more toys, more cars, all of it, more, right? And technically, in my opinion, more is not the remedy, is exercising the power of contentment is the cure to this infection. And the power of contentment, meaning getting crystal clarity on truly what it is that you desire, and then practicing an attitude of gratitude in order to not only get it, but keep it, right? So constantly waking up in that grateful state and just vibrating at that frequency, realizing that you attract your reality, right? And everything in it. And I know it's a little woo-woo, but I think I want to give more people permission for less. You know what I mean? It's a little counterintuitive, but man, I tell you, I've seen under the hood of thousands of businesses. I know all my circle is entrepreneurs. Like we know a ton of the same people. And I see people with all the things lacking so much of the peace and joy and fulfillment. And so that just isn't success to me. And so I just want to share that concept of the more disease and how to cure it.
I'm glad you did. I think that's so profound. And I think for people again listening, Cary's got the opportunity. I mean, you hear about some of the entrepreneurs he's dealing with, and he's got this special set of lenses where he's probably talking to all these people and seeing this commonality of unhappiness and where people are. And it's just like they're chasing the more disease. And I'm guilty of that. I look back and say,
me too.
What the hell are you doing? It's just the ego pushing, and we know we're high performers, so we think we can achieve more, and let's just get more and do all that. And you're like, then you're doing shit over here. Like, why am I even doing this? Well, because I can, and I think I can win. And you're just like, what the hell are you doing? Like just get back, stay focused, be happy with the stuff you're doing, and go deeper there. Like, one of the biggest regrets I have is just the juggling and the not focusing, and frankly, not finding my own happy lane soon enough. Like that's something I really regret, and being on a certain path and saying, is this the right path for me? And you had the courage and the knowledge to hit that eject button at the right time. Otherwise, you'd still be hanging with the rats in New York, potentially chasing something that you're like, what the hell am I doing here? At some point you would have hit that, but yeah, you got to it soon. Thank goodness.
Yeah. I mean, and I think everyone, I don't want to essentially be the bearer of bad news. Like if you feel like you made the pivot, and give yourself grace. Like we all are on our own path and our own journey. It's just now, what are we going to do moving forward into the future? For me, especially as a young father, it's like, man, being a father, like what else gives you that level of peak human bliss than like hearing dad? Like nothing. So why do we give so much of our energy away to followers online that we've never met, or so much like attention to haters who aren't even perfect for our product anyway? It's like, fuck them. Just focus on your people you love and being present as much as possible. And I just want to say this, man, I don't claim to be the guru of shit. I really don't. I am legit just a reporter. Here's some things that are working for me. Take what works, leave what doesn't. And that's my stance. I don't claim to be some online guru BS. I think there's a ton of furus, fake gurus out there. I just want to be 100% authentically me. And I like to do fun shit and get paid to do the stuff that I like to do. And that's what I built my whole business around. Is like, I want to go to Alaska. I'm going to get paid to go to Alaska because I'm going to take a bunch of homies and learn business tactics and tips and tools while going fly fishing or whatever. Like I'm creating a bow hunting mastermind now where we're taking a bunch of guys bow hunting for elk. I do that anyway. So why not just take some of the homies with me and get paid to do it? Like go camping anyway. Don't tell these guys.
Isn't it weird? Because you and I are aligned on building community. It's just like what seems so fun and natural to us. We realize that the average entrepreneur doesn't, like just the organizing and bringing other people together has such value for people. But you were like, I've been doing this my whole life. I'm always the guy that brings people together. Like,
oh yeah, high school parties.
Skill at all. I just been, like you look back in life, you're like, you're the wrangler of all your buddies. And you're like, holy shit, how good is this? I'm getting paid. And this goes back to the thing we talked about. You're doing what you love to do and that you're naturally good at and you enjoy it. But sometimes you don't think that this is actually a special skill because you're so good at it and you figured it out.
Yeah. Well, and that's just to your point, man, staying in your unique zone of genius. I think that's like one of the most important skills as an entrepreneur nowadays, because we can get so sidetracked with all the other tasks. Like now with AI and the inundation of technology, is like we even more need to lean into our human God-given gifts, right? Or human God-given human gifts, right? Because that's what's going to separate you as a business owner nowadays is like, how real can you be? I think my prediction, we talked about this, is like the more in-person events that you can do, the better when it comes to, well, let's say not more. Let me say quality, like just having those connections. People are craving connection. Right. I don't want to say do a ton of shitty events, but the point is having that as a part of your business model, like connecting is what people are craving. Like this loneliness epidemic is running rampant.
The value of communities we're all doing. Well, you and I could go on for hours, Cary. I always appreciate getting a chance to hang out with you and talk. And we talk to so many similar people. And I love what you're building. I love the difference you're making and all of us that need it. So I appreciate you and look forward to hanging out with you soon when I come out and visit Bozeman later this year.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, I'm stoked to see you soon and hang and kick it with you. And any way I can serve you or your community, always happy to support. Like I really want to help other people put the happy in their hustle, specifically my people, which are entrepreneurs.
I love it.
So yeah,
I love it.
To help.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
All right. Peace and love, everybody.
And that's a wrap from the Speakeasy podcast. If something sparked for you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, review it, and pass it to the one person who needs to hear this right now. Want in on the real mastermind? Tap the link in the show notes to apply. Until next time, keep scaling, stay sharp, and don't be the smartest one in the room. Hello, I've been noticing you've been following along to Inside the Speakeasy podcast. And if the conversations I'm having out there resonates with you, then I'd like to invite you to apply to learn more about becoming a member of Speakeasy.